Hey, what's going on, everybody? Keither.b of the Keither.b podcast. You know what? We have a pretty cool podcast today. Today I have in studio LeMar Rondaris. What's going on, LeMar? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Keith. Just enjoying this beautiful day or evening and seeing what's cracking.
What actually is cracking?
Probably your ass.
Well, there is a crack in my ass. Vertical, ain't it?
Hell yeah. I hope so.
Wait, vertical's up and down, right? Horizontal's. Do they call it horizontal because like the horizon is horizontal? So why is vertical up and down? What's the vert?
So it's the vertical, horizontal,
perpendicular.
the hokey pokey.
Penis-dicular.
Penis-dicular. Dude, I have no idea how to answer these questions. And it's the simplest fucking question in the world. How are you doing this evening?
And you know what? We were just welcome to the podcast.
Sunny days, no clouds in the sky, but I get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me 'cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me 'cause I'm gonna be on break.
I just called you LeMar. And I did that after being corrected because it just seems so easy saying LeMar rather than state your name.
LeMar is my name.
Yeah, so I actually said LeMar like probably 20 times, and then once we hit record, I said LeMar. So I apologize.
No need to apologize. That it happens all the time. It's happened my whole life. I tell everybody my name's LeMar, and 3 seconds later it's LeMar. It is what it is. You know, I preference. Just like I said, don't call me late for breakfast. That's all that matters.
You can call me LeMar
Call me what you want.
after the star of Revenge of the Nerds.
Hell yeah.
But just don't call you late for breakfast.
Yeah, that trauma I've got over. You know, as a kid, you know, LeMar Latrell.
LeMar. So is that so? LeMar from Revenge of the Nerds. What's his last name? Latrell.
Yes. Yeah, I got in a couple fights over that one in grade school. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Now, okay. With this being said, got in grade school, you've gotten into a couple fights because people called you LeMar rather than LeMar.
No, they called me LeMar Latrell.
Oh, they actually specifically said Latrell.
Yes.
Okay.
And I knew what they were talking about.
Gotcha. Now, be honest. Now, as adults, like right now, when somebody says, like, accidentally mispronounces LeMar for LeMar, does a little bit of that come back?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm older, you know, and then most of the people that just flip it to LeMar real quick have no idea even about that movie, Revenge of the Nerds. They don't. They're younger, you know. So, but no, it doesn't. I got over it a long time ago. Yeah.
Got you. So your name is LeMar Rondaris.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm the only one in the world.
Wow. Now, how do you know you're the only one in the world? Did you research this?
Yes.
Really?
There's no LeMar Rondaris other than me.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a genuine jewel in the studio today, everybody. We have a rare diamond, everybody.
Yeah. It's as far as I know, I've researched LeMar Rondaris. There is LeMars out there.
Yeah.
But the last name Rondaris, no. Okay. Not LeMar Rondaris combined.
All right. Very nice. Well, you know what? Now that we're kicking this show off, you know, I'd like to thank you very much for coming to the studio today. You've, you know, as everybody knows, that I'm the Sallyport officer at the prison that we both work for.
Yes.
And LeMar has come through many a times and we just shoot the shit, and we bullshit, and we just hit it off. I'm like, man, I got to have this guy over. And LeMar has came over multiple times already before this recording, and we tried to record, and we just talk and talk. We drink and talk, drink and talk, to where the last time we tried to record, we just bullshitted so much before we record. You're like, well, I gotta go. It's too late.
No, definitely. You know.
Yeah. So was your family who knew that you were going to record that night? Were they disappointed that like nothing was recorded that night?
Yes. My youngest. Yeah, she's like, Dad, where's the recording? Dad, where's the recording? I was like, yeah, you know, your dad and beer.
Yeah,
it didn't happen this time.
But to your family, I had a great night that night. We had a great time BSing, but I was disappointed we didn't record. But we had fun.
Oh, definitely. You know, hey, drinking and bushing. You know, it's the best time of your life. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know what? When you get to be about our age, you know, this is our escape.
No, definitely.
A couple guys getting together and just BSing, having a good time. Just good old. Is it dad fun?
Oh, definitely.
What do you call it? Dad fun, or is it just?
Hey, we're too
old guy fun.
We're too old for fast movement. You know what I mean? We ain't going out and playing no, baseball, softball, whatever, slow pitch or fast pitch.
Right.
You know, some people can still do it. Not me. No.
I will say, on that note, I didn't want to bring this up, but on that note, I did want to go buy a bat and a bunch of mitts and get a bunch of people together and do some 3 flies up barbecue at a park.
Oh, definitely.
Who doesn't like 3 flies, man?
Oh, no, look, so we still do that. You know what I mean? Because, I coached softball, girls softball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely, and we still like to, go out there but yeah, when you think you're running, that's a whole nother level.
That's why I think 3 flies is a good, for our age. I don't want to run.
Yeah.
I just want to sit there and hope that ball comes to me.
Yeah. And it literally comes to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you ain't chasing nothing.
And you know, that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, you don't have to be active if you don't want to, and you're a part of something.
Yeah.
No,
definitely. We did the last time I was coaching, it's funny because we had coaches against the players.
Oh, okay.
And I coached for Port City. And my daughter's in the stands. And I hit the ball. And I think I'm running. I feel the wind in my hair, which I ain't got much under here, but yeah, I think I'm feeling it, right? And all I hear is that all you got, Dad? And I ain't even made it to first yet, Had me dying, But, I still try, I still want to have fun, But, yeah.
Right on. Well, you know what? Mark my words. We're gonna go buy the equipment, and we're gonna do a barbecue at a park.
I have the equipment. I have gloves. I have bats. I got bases. I got everything that you need to set up and have a ball.
Amy, BTS, write this down. We're gonna be doing 3 flies up barbecue.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what 3 flies up is? Okay. You know what? Everything's meant to be. You were meant to be here to learn about 3 flies up.
Hey, I mean, I'm even if it's just like a quick game of softball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still down. I mean, I it may take a week to get to first base.
Well I know. Growing up, like my uncles, John, Joe, and I think sometimes Dennis would show up. And they'd get together and invite me, my brothers, all of our cousins would get together, and it's 3 flies up. And it was so fun because we were included in something. Because me and my brothers, we weren't included in sports. We didn't really do sports. It just wasn't our thing.
Right.
For whatever reason, it wasn't our thing. And we had so much fun. So I want to bring that back. Even as an adult, like right now, I'm damn near 50 years old. And I would be excited to get out there and try to, 'cause I think you throw the ball up yourself and bat it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think nobody pitches to you.
Well, like I said, I'm definitely in you with that because my daughter's friends, hey, especially when you ass whooped by a bunch of little girls. I mean, my daughter played, they all played, softball. Both my daughters, they played softball. So I have all the equipment. And during the summer, we do that. We go out and we'll barbecue. We'll go to a park, we'll barbecue, and we'll have a softball game.
Okay.
And, it is cool. You're sore for the next 2-3 weeks afterwards.
And that's okay. But I really admit, it was probably well over 10 years ago, maybe about 15 years ago, I used to have baseball bats. But it was for self-defense. It was for home defense. It wasn't really for sports. So now I'm like, man, I want to revert, I want to go back to when I was a kid, when we enjoyed going out with my uncles and playing Three Flies Up.
Yeah.
I remember one occasion, I remember my dad was even a part of it. I was like a super young kid. And it was like just the best thing. And it was just Three Flies Up. We were just at a park because that, we didn't do a lot of things as a kid. So that alone was like so special. So I want to relive that as an adult. I think that would be so cool.
Oh, we could do it. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I love to barbecue. I love to, get out. I got the barbecue pits I take out to the fields. We barbecue during the summer.
Well, you know what? This podcast had to happen.
Definitely.
Because this is what's developing out of it. Because we're you know what? Let's just make a big event out of it. Let's just make a Facebook post and let's get a bunch of people there and let's just do it at a park.
Oh, definitely.
That would be fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah, no, it is fun too. Yeah, I mean, it brings out the kid in you.
Amy, what are you doing this weekend?
It does. It brings out the kid in you. You get out there and you like I said, you think you're running. You think you're 15, 16 again. You're rounding second.
Yeah.
You're probably not even making it to second.
Yeah. And we're already winded.
Yeah. Yeah. You're coming around first base. You done tripped twice and fell down. You know what I'm saying? And
but our beer's still in our hand.
Yeah. And everybody's having a blast. Everybody's having fun, with this, and your kids are talking shit. You're like, yeah, really? Is that all you got?
Yeah.
And it's
that's totally okay.
It is 100% okay. When you're out there doing that, yeah, definitely. And I'm always down for something like that.
If my sons are talking shit, like when and I'm tripping over my feet, running to like second, third base, I'm like, okay.
Hey, when you slide in with your head,
we're good.
And you ain't even made it to first yet, and you're sliding.
Okay, I think no doubt that us right here in the studio and people watching knows this event is going to happen.
Definitely.
We're going to do a park event, Three Flies Up. We're going to be barbecuing, and it's going to be just a great event.
Yeah, just to see who can make it around the base. You know what I mean? Like, look you pop it up. If you can make it to first, you get a trophy, especially if you're 50 and above.
And you know what? Hey, and the cameras that we're filming this podcast with,
right?
They have 6-hour batteries in them, and we can use cellular to live stream them. We could actually put this on the internet.
Oh yeah, how many people would laugh their asses off?
That would be awesome. Let's do it.
I'm in. 100%.
We're doing it.
Hey, here, everybody. Trinity Parkway has a softball field. Right there in Trinity Parkway.
We're going to be doing the Rondaris Buren Three Flies Up event. Bring a dish.
Hey, we would like, if anybody could, what do they call it? Donate so that we have an ambulance on site.
We're going to have a GoFundMe for just in case somebody gets injured. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, but it's fun. It's all fun. It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Man, I love it. Okay. So enough about that. How long have you been married?
I've been married for 24 years. It'll be 25 years. November 20th, 2024. Be 25 years married.
Okay. What did your wife say when you said you got this job at the prison? Because I believe your first job at the prison was working on
Custodian.
the custodian EVS, right?
Yes.
Okay, so even that, what was her thoughts on you working in a prison?
She's the one that pushed me for it.
Okay.
I worked previous to that as at a steel company, and
Really?
yes, I worked for Chef Steel.
And you probably got paid more at that job than the state, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I worked there for 6 years, and she was telling me, hey, get with the state. It's a good job, benefits, this and that, and my only foot in was EVS, which was as a custodian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I bit hook, line, and sinker.
Well, I would agree. Any foot in, like, if you want to be a state worker, any foot in the state, any foot in, that's a good start. Right. So.
Well, yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
So I go for it. Hey, it's my wife, right? She's got she's looking out for me, right?
She's pushing you to go to state job,
right?
and this is a state job, yes.
She knows the future. I don't, right? This is a very smart woman, right? So I go in and I get hired. I quit my job working for a steel company. I apply for custodian EVS, and they have what you make, about a certain amount monthly. My first paycheck's $1,200 for the month.
Okay.
I was making triple that, right? I was making about $4,000 a month,
Which is a damn good wage,
right,
per month. Yeah.
Well, now I'm not making enough to pay my mortgage. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And my wife just kept pushing, hey, stay there, stay with it.
Because it's a state job.
Right.
Because
We'll make it work. It's state.
it leads to other positions, yes.
Benefits, retirement, the whole 9 yards. And we struggled. We did. We struggled for 3 years. I stayed with it. I listened to her, and thank God I did. Stayed with it, and even after 3 years, still wasn't. I was barely making my mortgage, and I applied.
This is 3 years as
custodian.
As a custodian at the prison in Stockton.
Yep, at CHCF.
Okay.
And busting my ass, and I did not like it. I didn't, but I stayed there. I did. And
so let me interrupt you real quick. So being a custodian at CHCF, it's different than being a janitor or custodian at any other prison, because CHCF in Stockton uses custodians to actually clean cells, right? Or is that what they use? The Pride?
No. Okay, so Pride is another part of the prison that cleans the cells, right? So when I started,
so you never clean cells. That's what Pride does.
No. We do too.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how it works exactly, but Pride is a what do you call it? They're not state workers.
Yeah, it's like a contracted company.
Right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a contracted company,
Yeah.
right? And if you work for EVS
is actually state.
Right. So I'm going to hurt some people, but EVS is environmental services.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up on our hiring website, nowhere does it say EVS as environmental. It just says custodian.
Gotcha.
Environmental service it's going to hurt somebody, should get paid more because you're environmental.
Gotcha.
Okay. When I was hired, EVS didn't exist. It was a name that was invented.
After you were hired.
Yes.
So when you were hired, what did it say? Just custodian?
It was we were custodians.
Like
Yes.
what did it say? Like prison custodian?
Yeah. If
Or
you,
state worker custodian?
Yeah. If you go to the hire website, it says custodian.
It probably doesn't say that now, does it?
No, it still to this day says custodian.
Okay.
It does not say environmental.
So when you
services.
And then when you get hired on at the prison, you're like, oh, you're EVS, environmental.
Right. And it's
service.
it's on everything.
Okay.
EVS, which environmental services, which I've worked for environmental services prior to, you get paid a lot more because of the being in environmental service. But we do work with the biohazards as a custodian for the state. We do.
Well, when you work in a prison, especially at a prison such as CHCF, there's a lot of biohazards you got to mess with.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, you have the feces.
Use your imagination, yes.
Yes. I have went into rooms that I didn't know that a human could produce that much feces to paint his room with it. You know what I mean? And you go in and clean it. Those are all biohazards, which is all environmentals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I don't. You know what I mean? I think that the custodians would have a better. They don't have the amount of employees that they should because of the pay. Because the 3 years that I worked there, I would, like I said, I was barely making my mortgage. You know, so
You mean the 3 years that you were EVS, that you
Yes.
were a custodian?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't afford it. You can't. But I stayed with it. You know what I mean? But I think that they should be paid more. I do.
Well, by all means, if you have to clean an inmate's shit off of a cell,
Yeah.
end of story. You should be paid a premium.
Right.
Now, while you're working in this position, and your wife is pushing you to be this state worker custodian in a prison, are you telling her the stories about what you have to clean up?
Oh, definitely.
Like some of these horror stories.
Oh, definitely. You know, I actually talked to the inmate, you know, as I went into his room, because they pulled him out and they have him set aside and he's guarded. I worked Bravo Yard, B8B, right?
Okay.
And at that time, which would have been 5 years ago, a lot of what's that? They have the red thing above them.
Yeah, the IEX. There's like a red cone they put over the doors. If they're IEX, that means they sexually expose themselves.
Well, the IEX plus the guys that just came in, and I can't remember what it was called, but Bravo held them before.
Like the max inmates?
The max. There you go. The max.
Yeah.
So they held all the maxes. Now that changed a couple years later. They moved them to like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah. So the max inmates they're basically ADSEG inmates. They're like, they need extra security.
Right.
They're like the worst of the worst, you know.
And, you know, it was, you know, what you have to deal with, you know, the environmental part. And there was this supervisor that we had, rest in peace.
Okay.
Awesome supervisor. His name was Arnie. And he passed away. And he's the one that started the EVS. Before I started, there was no EVS.
Okay.
It was environmental services. He said, think EVS, be EVS, get paid EVS. It never happened. But if you go in there right now, there's EVS on everything.
Yeah.
You know, and Arnie's the one that started that. And nobody gets paid the EVS. And EVS right now, I know is understaffed, way understaffed.
Well, it's probably because I heard that the Pride staff that's in this prison, which is like a janitorial service.
Correct.
I heard they get paid way more than EVS. And the people that are on EVS, they like staying EVS because they have benefits. As
Correct.
Pride staff don't have benefits, but they have the higher wage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're going to stay with the higher wage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because people need to pay their bills right here, right now. They're not really tripping on like retirement because we want to pay our bills right now. Yeah.
And you know, and it sucks. It does. You know what I mean? I was there for 3 years and I had to move out. I did, you know what I mean? Or I would probably still be there. No, I would be there because my wife wouldn't have let me leave the state, you know. And I was lucky enough to move to groundskeeping. But everybody that I've seen that has moved out of EVS in our facility, and it sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're in a better place. But our EVS, I think they need to be paid more. They do. Anybody that has to go clean up human feces, human blood, you know what I mean? People don't realize that is a danger that's far worse than maybe getting stabbed. You know what I mean?
You know what? As a correctional officer for over 20 years, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
Because before me working at this prison, working at DVI, when any of that stuff needed to be cleaned up, it was the officers doing it. You know, and the officers were like, "Well, we're correctional officers. We're not janitorial. We weren't trained on cleaning up this bullshit, but we had to do it anyways."
Yeah.
Because a prison janitorial services didn't exist at DVI.
Right. Yeah. And that came out with the same thing with me. I was there, right, when COVID first started. When COVID hit, I was EVS. And I was put in a position that you need to go clean those rooms. Only thing that I knew about COVID was they could kill you.
Right.
And they're telling me, go clean these rooms. And I denied it. So I was put, by me denying, I was told that I was refusing to an order, right? And I was refusing to do my job. And I told him, I was like, okay, well, whatever the consequences are, I will take them full-heartedly.
Because they were saying, hey, put on this little mask and go clean this deadly virus.
Right.
By yourself.
Exactly.
So they said, did they at least specify that it had to be a special mask? Was it just a regular surgical mask?
No, they told me.
The N95 mask, which is what they're pushing now?
I was told it's the same as doing a, what do you call,
it's a biohazard.
Right. Yeah. But so when we went in and we cleaned a room, oh man, I just had it. So when you a cleaning of a room, right, a full clean, you masked up, suited up, and you cleaned, the whole room, right?
Total PPE protection, yeah.
Ceiling, walls, floor, beds, whatever it was, that was what you had to clean, and they contributed to that as the same as cleaning a COVID. I was like, yeah, you lost your mind. This clean is not the same, because this one cleaning a COVID, if I catch COVID, I could die. Right? So
yeah.
I denied it, and I was threatened with being written up and all kinds of stuff, as to doing this. But I mean, what I'm getting at is the environmental services, which they call it EVS. It's not on the books nowhere, other than what they spray paint on all the materials. You know what I mean? Because
so if you want your foot in the door to work for a prison or a state job, and your foot in the door is like janitorial,
it says custodian.
It says it's custodian, but when you come to the prison to work, you're actually doing more than what a custodian should be.
Yes,
because
I worked for an environmental service.
Yeah,
I worked. I got no problem saying it. I worked for Dillard's Environmental, and I got paid $32 to $40 an hour, depending on the job, because we were fully 40-hour hazmat, confined space entry. You know what I mean? Bloodborne, airborne. We were trained fully for that. And that was environmental services.
Okay.
And I hope that this gets out to somebody, because I think that what the EVS does in any prison should get paid worth, because it's their life.
Yeah, by all means, because you're cleaning up the shit that no correctional officer, that no administrator wants to clean up.
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone, I don't know what you have.
So there should be some sort of hazard pay in there, is what we're saying.
Yes.
By all means, I agree with you.
Yeah, because I don't know what you have, and because of the rules and laws or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't ask you, hey, why are you in this room? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They can't. Nobody can tell.
Yeah, you can't ask them.
The HIPAA laws?
Yeah, HIPAA laws. Yeah, you can't ask them about their medical issues, what's going on, which could be like AIDS or herpes,
whatever,
gonorrhea. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck.
And as a custodian, you're going into every single room on Alpha Yard, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta.
Right.
Those are all the 3 yards that, that you have to visit. And what's going to happen? It's not safe. It is not safe for you.
Let me ask you this question about being on EVS. Obviously, you're not EVS anymore. You're CHCF groundskeeper, so you're doing outgrounds now. But on the subject of EVS, working inside, obviously it's dangerous. Cleaning up like feces and who knows what's in there.
Right.
Have you ever experienced any situations to where you felt your safety was in jeopardy around inmates, besides cleaning cells, to where you're in an environment where obviously there's correctional officers around? Has there ever been a situation to where you're like, I don't want to be here right now. I feel unsafe even with correctional officers around?
Me personally, no.
Okay.
My upbringing is street, right?
So if someone comes after you, obviously you handle your own.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean that part, but I think it's all stopped with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all inmates, no matter where they come from. Their personality, their whatever you want to call it, is respect.
Right.
Right. You don't disrespect. You're not going to have a problem.
And respect is pretty much a golden rule in most prisons.
It is.
I know this prison's a little special because it's a medical facility and you're dealing with medical 5150s who may have an altered perception of what respect is.
Right. If they don't take their medicine. Right. This is so my wife pushed me on this because she knew my background, where I come from, being able to read people. Right.
She knew you'd be able to handle it.
Right. And so dealing with somebody that may have a medical problem mentally, I've dealt with it with either friends or family.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't something new, right? So knowing that how someone reacts or acts, or how to react or act to somebody, it 100% can help you, right? So I didn't have that problem.
So basically, what you're telling me is like you were probably a good candidate to be a CO rather than the EVS.
My wife wanted me to be a CO.
Yeah.
She said that I would be a perfect CO.
From what I know about you, you would be actually.
Being able to read people and understand where they come from, and understanding respect and who deserves it and who don't. You know what I mean? Kind of deal.
Right.
No, I probably could have.
But here we are. We're at this point,
And but it helps me in my position. You know what I mean?
Right.
Being that I am now a groundskeeper, right? And even as EVS, I had porters, right? And being able to deal with porters and understand, when or not to piss them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't ever want to piss them off.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't want the headache of dealing with any kind of situation.
Right.
With inmates and being in a prison. But, you know what? Let me go ahead and transition the conversation to, let me get off of you being an EVS. Now you're out grounds, right? You're a groundskeeper.
Yes.
And you're actually in charge of having inmate workers with you.
Yes.
So my question to you is like, I know you're not nervous as far as like getting into an altercation with workers you're in charge of, but are you worried that there might be a situation to where you're outside the secured perimeter doing a groundskeeping with inmates and them possibly trying to make a break for it and escape? Has that ever crossed your mind?
No, definitely. You know, I mean, that's something that's always like, I'm out here. I'm in. So I take my inmates not only to the parking lot, right?
Let me interrupt you. How many inmates are you in charge of?
So right now I'm in charge of 3.
Okay.
So
these are 3 inmates that live on the inside the secured perimeter.
Yes.
That are authorized to come out the secured perimeter.
Yes.
And work landscaping with you. You're supervising them.
Yes.
Okay.
And these 3 inmates are authorized through me supervising to go all the way to Austin Road, which is literally outside of the guard gate.
It's on the street. Yeah, outside the gatehouse, yes.
And we maintain weed eating, garbage, being that there's a dump site, a mile up the road.
Right.
We get all kinds of garbage flying out of the garbage trucks, which has to be cleaned up, weed eating, trees trimmed, whatnot. Does it bother me? Not really.
I wouldn't think it would bother you, but I would think the questions would come to your mind, like the what ifs.
Right.
Like you're in charge. You're not a correctional officer. You're not like law enforcement, but you work for a prison and you're like in charge of. You're basically the boss of inmates out on the street in front of a prison. It has to cross your mind, like, not that you think your safety's in jeopardy, but what if they take off? Like, what if a car pulls up and they hop in and they bounce?
Right.
Like, obviously, you have to like run through your brain, like, what would you do?
Yeah.
Okay, what am I going to do if this happens?
Yeah.
Surely you do that.
No, definitely. I have my plans. What plans or my protocol.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do if that happens. I'm going to do what I have to do. Central control is the first one that's going to be called.
Yeah.
But me personally, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not going to, try and put myself in jeopardy of, harming myself.
Well, it's not your job to pursue.
Right. Well, some people may think that that's their part of their job. I don't know. But,
Yeah. Now keep in mind, this is a very severe what if, because these inmates that go outside the secure perimeter and they're working on close to the street in front of the prison, these inmates are, or residents, what they call them, is they're deemed safe to do so.
Right.
Like they're not a flight risk because of their term. They're close to paroling.
Right.
Like they probably have a year, less than a year, slightly over a year. They're not gonna like screw that up to where they're in time, doing prison longer
Right.
than that. So
but you can't rule that out. You can't, because you could be an asshole groundskeeper,
right.
They could piss them off, right?
And then they say, "This is the day."
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the day we're gonna do it.
I don't care if I got to get out tomorrow. This dude done pissed me off. I'm gonna punch him in his fucking eyeball, and
You can go fucking run down the street
right
to the dump.
You know what I mean?
Or the railroad tracks that's up there.
So you like they say, you build a rapport, right? You're not their friend, right? You're not their buddy. You're not going to go out and party with these guys when they get, you know what I mean?
By all means, yeah.
But there's an understanding between you and the inmate, or I call them inmates.
Well, they're trying to transition from calling them inmates to residents.
Okay.
Or incarcerated people.
Right.
They're trying to get away from the word inmate.
Yeah.
So to California, we're California's in the business of trying to rehabilitate, and they're trying to get away from damaging words like inmate.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
So but you, like you said, you build a rapport with these men. You know what I mean? And they're men. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And you don't want to treat them other less than a man.
Right.
I don't care what they did. You know what I mean? I'm not asking what they did. Look, we have a job to do. We have this many hours to work. You know what I mean? And this is what we're going to do.
Let's get it done.
Right. Yep. But if one wants to run, you know what I mean, and take off, look, I'm not there to chase you down and tackle you. You consider me, the mall security, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to call who I got to call and say, hey, look, we got a runner. This is, it is what it is. But yeah. I'm not going to put my life in jeopardy, with these guys. I'm not, because we are outside the gates, and they are inmates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your EVS transitions to groundskeeper. Now let's talk about the woman who influenced you to become a state worker at a prison, starting out janitorial.
Yeah.
How long have you been married to this woman? And tell us how much you love this woman. Tell us how much you love her for having you work at prison around inmates.
So, hey, this woman is my life.
Okay.
Right? Her name's, her name's Michelina, right?
Michelina.
I don't know if you can see on my arm.
Michelina.
That's right here, you know what I mean?
From the elbow to the wrist. I see it.
That's my wife. We've been, this November will be 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 25 years married. And, she's my life. She is why I am here today. Definitely. In like real short, you might be taking care of me. You know what I'm saying?
If you didn't have Michelina in your life?
If I did not have that woman in my life. And you're a CO, so you can take it for what it is. You probably would be taking care of me inside.
You know what? That just tells me that's the power of having a good woman in your life.
Oh, definitely.
They can put you on the right track. They can just set you straight, man.
Hey, if it wasn't for this woman, my life would 180 degrees flipped. Love her to death. She's she gave me 3 beautiful children. That keep me in check.
Right.
I got a 19-year-old. I have a 22-year-old and a 23-year-old. And boy, do they check me all the time. They're like, I'm dead.
With just, I kind of felt your heart right now just by you saying that. And I have a feeling if she says, you know what, enough with the CO stuff, I want you to apply for this, you probably would probably apply for it. Because she sounds like a good woman with good direction that has your best interest at heart.
Oh, definitely. Like 100%. Like I have no idea. I could not tell you what road I would be on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you. I would probably be digging a hole in a ditch because my education does more than push a shovel.
Right.
That's the way that I always looked at it. And she always told me, like, you're more than that. You know what I mean? And she pushed me for, to move up in my abilities, She says, you're smarter than that,
Wow. So, Michelina.
Yes.
That's her name?
Michelina Rondaris.
Michelina Rondaris, hey, you're doing good, man. Yeah, you're doing good. Well, I don't mean to say man, but you're doing good, gal. Your kids are watching this right now. Are they making fun of you? Are they cracking jokes?
Oh, I guarantee.
Look at Dad.
Guarantee. I guarantee. They're like, what's Dad doing? Like, he trying to do this and that,
Hey, is my dad trying to be a podcaster? Is my dad trying to be a YouTuber?
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, they're curious,
Yeah.
because I told them, it's like, hey, I've been trying this. I'm trying something, to put it out there, and and they're like, did you do it, Dad? Have you done it yet? Have you done it? Like, what's happening tonight? And like beginning of the cast, we be drinking and sometimes it don't happen.
Yeah. We do get to drinking and we get to be BSing a little too much. But your children are watching. And you know what? They probably want to know how proud of them are you?
Oh, they know it. I tell them, that I love them every day. That's one thing that I've done every single day is I tell my kids I love them. Tell my wife I love her every day. And I support them in everything that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, be it. I don't want to say little. You know what I mean? Whatever they do, I mean, I'm like, hey, you want to go for it? Go for it. I tell my son, I said, you do whatever you think you're big enough to do.
Right. Right.
And, and my youngest daughter, she works and goes to school. So she's like, doing her thing. My son and my oldest, they take care of special needs children, which I think is beautiful. You know what I mean? That, they have that patience, to do that,
Mm-hmm.
And, they have, my son, he wants to be a CO. So, he's pushing for that, doing what he's got to do. But
He can apply. I recommend don't be a CO starting at CHCF. Be a CO at like any other real prison. If my sons wanted to be a CO, I'd be like, go to Mill Creek, go to Quentin, right? Go to Solano, go to a real prison.
Yeah.
CHCF, I feel it should be a prison you go to after you worked at a regular prison that's not a medical prison.
Right.
Because CHCF is a milkshake of officers from other prisons. It's like you have officers that worked everywhere. And that's why it's kind of working because you have a lot of experience there. I feel if I was a brand new officer that I would probably have a hard time being put on B yard every single day, working with severe 5150s.
Right.
You have to have like CO experience behind you, or at least working with you. So I don't know. Maybe the state should listen to this and have brand new officers start elsewhere and have experienced officers work with these severe medical people. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of my family. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And everything they're doing, proud probably, love the wife for pushing and making me who I am today. Because I would have never, I would still be, I don't know, like I said, pushing the shovel somewhere.
I mean, you're a state worker. Even you're a groundskeeper. Like, you're a state worker, so you can still transfer. That, like, you're still in. You can transfer anywhere. You can still climb the ladder.
I would have never
applied. The pay grade.
I would have never applied for a state worker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I would have tried. I would have stayed where I'm at. Doing a forklift operator, or working in a warehouse, or
Right.
nothing that was planned for the future. Yeah, I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to that. That's why I got a wife. She's smarter than me, guaranteed, 100% smarter than me. I ran my facility, my yard, whatever. Like, so I was in Keither.b, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ran it efficient. There was no complaints. I ran it enough to where I did an interview for a supervisor position, and they asked me in that position what I did and how I did it, and could I implement this in all facilities. And I said, yes, I could do that. So they looked at my paperwork on how I ran my facility. I didn't get the position, but for some reason, another supervisor was talking about, showed me how they've been working on how to implement this certain procedure in these facilities. And I'm looking at it going, really? After this interview, you're going to show me how I run my facility, and you're the one trying to implement it? Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's what they would do to me, which I didn't care. You know what I mean? I was at that point. I was just like, whatever. I'm going to keep doing my job because my wife says that we're doing a good job here. But you know what I mean? 5 years later, it hasn't paid off, but it's paying off.
Yeah. Well said right there. It's paying off.
Yes.
Getting there.
And I have 14 more years. At 65, I'm going to retire. I got 14 more years. You know what I mean? And it will pay off. It will. I mean, I finally see that, over the tree.
Yeah. I'm actually looking to be a home husband within the next year.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm hiring.
Maybe not.
I need lawn mowed and trees trimmed. My son's not working out quite well.
Let's kind of change the subject real quick. You used to leave work on your Harley, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen you on it recently, but how was it riding a Harley? How does that make you feel riding to work and leaving on a Harley? You're a Harley guy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I got a 2017 Road Glide Special. There's nothing like it, right? So I started out on crotch rockets. I had a FZR 1000.
How old were you when you had your first crotch rocket?
Oh, it was until I was older. I was
in your 20s.
No, I was actually married. So yeah, in my 20s. So I got married at 27, 28.
Oh.
Yeah.
Late 20s.
Yeah. So I picked up so let's see. I got married in 99. November 20th, 1999 is when I was married. And that put me at 26, 27, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
I had an FZR 1000, Yamaha, right? Cross rocket, 160, 150, flying up and down the roads, having a blast, right? And then I bought a ZX 1100 Ninja. I wasn't going under 1,000, right? And one day my cousin tells me, hey, let's go for a ride. And my my Ninja was broke down at the time, and he had a soft tail. He had a soft tail.
You're good. You're good.
So he's all, hey, ride the soft tail. And I was like, all right. So we go for a ride. And I fell in love with the Harley. Not the soft tail, but I fell in love with the Harley. So this is a whole nother story of how I achieved my Harley.
Oh, achieved your Harley?
Yes. So I'm looking at this website, and I'm looking at this Harley, and I know what I want, right? I want a black Harley. I want the 103. And I'm looking for a bagger. So I found a Electra Glide 2015 Electra Glide, had 5,000 miles on it, and black, just stripped down, police special, 103. I'm watching it. I want it. One day I would go look for it and it's gone. It's not on there no more. And this is the bike I've been watching. This is the one I want.
Right.
So, like I told you earlier, family gatherings, right? We do a lot of family gatherings on the weekends. My wife says, hey, we're having dinner at your brother's, and some family and friends on Monday. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we go to my brother's. Now, my brother just purchased a Harley on Sunday. So it did kind of click in my mind for a second but nah, my brother wouldn't do that, you know what I mean? But it is possible that he might have got me a Harley, right? But obviously he didn't. But I showed up at his house, right? And he's like, hey, he's got this Road King, sick ass Road King, right? And he's like, hey, take it for a ride, brother. And I'm like, all right. So I take it for a ride around the block, down the street, blah, blah. And I come back and I'm backing it up and I'm turning it off and I'm like, brother, this Road King is sick. My cousin goes, hey, but would you ride that? And I'm like, I look at him and I kind of look to the right, but I ain't tripping. I'm damn near peeing on my brother's Road King, right? I mean, this bike is sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
21 in the front, 16 in the rear, this bike is sick, right? And my cousin goes, but would you ride that? And I look to the right. It's the bike that I've been looking at. My wife bought it for me. That's why it wasn't on the fucking list no more. Right? I'm looking at it, I was like, oh, what? Right? You know what I mean? Like, I got this 2015 103 Electra Glide,
I gotta say, this is a turn of the story. When I brought up motorcycles, I didn't think I was gonna hear about this.
Right.
This is juice.
Dude, peed on myself, right? I couldn't even get on the bike, right? My wife buys me this Harley, right? Best thing in the world, you know what I mean? So I got this Harley. I'm, just happy as hell. Mm-hmm. Long story, I wrecked it a couple times. Sucks.
Long story short, happens.
Yeah. And so I end up, my last accident, I broke my back in 3 places and broke my neck in 2 places. That was my last accident with that bike. It was totaled. So I didn't have a bike for a while. And then I like I told you earlier, my little brother, he passed away. Mm-hmm. He had a Harley. And he has a 2017 Road Glide Special, which I took over. Mm. So that's my baby brother's bike, which I have now.
Gotcha.
And loving this bike. You know what I mean? taking care of it. I got the stereo on there. You know what I mean? I got air.
Was the stereo already on it?
No.
Or did he put it on there?
He did put a stereo system on there,
Okay.
but life is upgraded. You know what I mean?
Right.
New speakers, kind of stuff that's coming out now. So I put a whole new speaker system on it. I put air suspension on it. So it's got like the hydraulics. You can lift it up and down.
Right.
Upgraded the front wheel.
So this Harley that you're riding is like super special
Very.
because it's your brother's who passed away.
Yes. Very, very, very special. It's changing my life.
Yeah.
Really. It has. You know what I mean?
You probably think of him every time you ride it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
There's I think of him every day, period. You know what I mean? But yeah, getting on that bike, I tell him, like, look what I've done, little brother. I've upgraded this, upgraded that. But recently, on the way to work, I hit a bump and the handlebars landed in my lap.
Oh. No bueno.
Yeah, at all.
So what happened? Something like
So
they loosened?
No, I wish it would have loosened. They probably would have tightened back up.
Well, it's broke. Okay.
Yeah, the clamp comes off the riser, the riser clamp, everything broke. Hit a bump. So I'm supposed to either tomorrow or the next day get all the parts. It's been a month getting this all put together, but Harley riding, bike riding. Hey, Harley is my brother rides, a lot of my cousins, family. It's a couple guys at work. I've run into them. And they're like, hey, if you ever want to ride, there's nothing like people that ride Harleys. Everybody just, man, you get out there and you can't explain it. You can't,
I can only imagine. I've never rode a motorcycle or a Harley or anything. The only thing I ever rode was a Schwinn.
Hey, put a motor on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing to, explain. me and my wife, we ride, a couple times we went up to Nevada, for the to Reno,
Right.
For the what's it called? Street vibes.
Yeah, street vibes, yeah.
Taking the bikes up there, and just riding, period. You know what I mean? I've been jonesing for like the last month till I get it fixed. It sucks. I'm having nightmares.
It'll be fixed. But you know what? Let me kind of change tracks a little bit. Still talking about your brother, who you're riding his Harley. I invited you out to a pool tournament last time.
Right.
You brought your brother up. You said you were using his pool cue, and this was the first time you used his pool cue since his passing?
Yeah. So, my brother, he passed away COVID, and White.
So he was a shooter, right?
Yeah, he loved to play pool. Me and him, we played each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was in there, he asked me. He said, "Hey, bro, can you pick up my stick?"
You're talking about when he's in the hospital?
Yeah, he was in the hospital. I was like, "I got you,"
Yeah.
Not thinking, what the end would be. And I picked up his stick and we never got to play again together. He passed away. But when you asked me, like, hey, you want to go shoot some stick? I was like, you know what? Let's do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I invited you to a pool tournament, not knowing how well you shot,
Wow.
And then you showed me the pool cue. The pool cue was a Q-Tech, which is what I shoot with.
Yeah.
And you told me that it was your brothers who passed away, and you said it was the first time that you shot with it since his passing, and that put not pressure, but it was like it made me feel like wow, I'm a part of like a special moment with you, because this is your brother's pool cue. He was a shooter, and this was a special cue that he had, and you acquired it, and you're going out to shoot with it for the first time with me.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a special moment that I was like honored to be a part of, because I knew how special this moment of going out to shoot pool was with his pool cue. And I gotta say, man, you did your brother proud, because you shot like hell with his pool cue, man. You're a shooter, and
he was probably laughing at me a little bit, a lot. I guarantee. He was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But no, I'm glad that you pulled me out, though. You know what I mean? Because even my wife was saying, "You're like, hey, why don't you go shoot some steak?" You know what I mean? That's what you like to do. But it was me and my brother that did it all the time.
Yeah.
And you didn't replace my brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you brought it out. You know
By
what
all means, you know what, man? Because you told me the story, the history behind the cue. You told me about your brother. I felt he was with us that night.
Yeah.
I'm
glad that
and
you
I'm being
pulled me
serious. I felt he was with us that night.
No, he was. He's always with me. He is. And I'm glad that you pulled me out of that little pocket. You know what I mean? Because I love to shoot pool. You know what I mean? I do. You know what I mean?
And I can see that. You shot very well that night.
Yeah, I love to shoot pool, but you pulled me out of it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And we'll do it again. You know what I mean? We'll shoot some more
by
pool.
all means, by all
Definitely.
means.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was me and my little brothers. Kind of like we battled each other constantly. He'd win, I'd win. He'd win, I'd win. And we get drunk doing it.
Where would you guys shoot? Would you guys go to bars, or did you guys have a table?
Right here. We shoot right here at the Anchor.
Oh, okay, at the Anchor.
Yeah.
I shoot there quite frequently.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, we got to double it up.
Yeah, by all means. By all means.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know, man. Before you leave tonight, you're gonna have to shoot me a picture of you and your brother, and we're gonna dedicate this podcast to your brother, and we're gonna put him up on screen.
Yup, definitely.
By all means.
That. Yeah, he was a badass.
Yeah,
it's my little brother.
Yeah, by all means, man. Switching channels back to where we work.
All right.
Right. So you're in a position to where you go through a vehicle sally port.
Correct.
And you've probably encountered different sally port officers who run the sally port, who check your ID, check your vehicle, check your inmates, pop the hood, search your vehicle. So in your time being at the prison going through the sally port, who is by far the best sally port officer that you've encountered?
Well, no. So for real, like, so look at So one thing about me is I don't remember people's names.
Okay.
Good one.
Right? And for me to remember your name means I tried.
Okay.
So even in plan ops, right? I've been there, I'm going to 8 months. And I don't know everybody's name there. right?
In plant ops, okay.
In plant ops, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where I work.
A lot of people.
There's like 60, I think maybe a little bit less people that work in plant ops. But I know a few, but I don't know everybody's name. And recently, the last name that I picked up was Vince, right? And before him was this guy Josh. So, but I'm not good with names.
I don't know who they are.
Right. You have you don't. If you've seen them, you would know they go through the Sally Port, right? So for me to remember this guy named Keith Buren, right, in the Sally Port, because I don't know anybody else's name in there.
Okay.
I don't. You know what I mean? Is, I don't know if you want to say important, but he's a cool cat. Really, you know what I mean? I go through, and he introduced me to, he introduced himself to me, as Keith Buren. But I've been there 8 months, and I go through that thing every day, 3 or 4 times a day. There's only one person that I know by name going through there. It is. His name's Keith Buren. He's a cool cat. He smells a little funny.
Keith Buren, everybody. We're not going to talk about how he knows how he smells close up, but
there it is.
Nah, you know what? Thanks for saying that. And yeah, of course I was being silly right now.
Yeah.
Right now, and you kind of turned it into a little bit something serious. But I am a checkpoint officer, so the Sally Port is a checkpoint, and we have officers go in and out. We have plant ops going in and out, groundskeeper in and out, even inmates in and out. I'm the one who checks their IDs. I'm the one who greets them. I'm the one who is in interaction with them. So I keep it neutral all across the board. And when it comes to cool people, such as yourself, I'm like, you know what? I want to know this guy.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here today, because you are something more than just an average person. You're somebody who I wanted to get to know.
Right.
And here we are.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, end of story.
Yeah.
Cool
Keith.
guy. What do they say? Real recognizes real.
Definitely.
So.
Recognize game.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if this guy's got any game, but I'm definitely real, So with that said, man, I think we have over an hour of footage, and we hit on some stuff, and I want to personally thank you for coming over and hitting my studio and recording a little podcast, because this feels like a podcast because we had a genuine conversation. And I feel that's what a podcast is, because people who are on the outside looking in, if they're genuinely interested in the conversation that we're having, that's what a podcast is. It's letting people know, it's letting people watching our podcast, it's making them feel okay to be a fly on the wall on our conversation.
No, definitely.
And I think definitely we have some very interested flies watching us.
No, it was cool being here. You know what I mean? And doing this. No, definitely. No, you don't sound stupid. No. Yeah. I was always interested in doing this and seeing how it turns out. Let's see what happens.
I think I know what's going to happen. I'm happy with what we talked about. I have no doubt that this is going to be a hit. If not with the world, at least with me, you, our family.
Yeah.
People who heard us talk about them. So regardless, this is here forever. It's going to be on my channel. So thanks for coming, man. Thanks, LeMar.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
All right.
Definitely.
Can't believe that you got me in a suit and tie. I had to take a pull so I wouldn't cry. You got a line
sign out the church door saying goodbye. Yeah, I believe him when he say you're in a better place. You had a wild side, but you had amazing grace. I know you're way off up in them clouds, but if you could still hear me right now, I hope you hit those gold streets on 2 wheels. I hope your mansion in the sky's got a 10-acre field with some mud and some hubs you can log in. Make some thunder, make them wonder how you got in. How'd you beer, how'd you clear from the man upstairs? Crank it loud, hold it down till I get there. And when I do, I hope you got some new stories to tell. Till then, give heaven some hell.